Episode of the Cinematic Canon.
Hey, what's up, everybody? So today we're reviewing a couple films that I'd say the thematic through line is like they're about people that are crazy, or there's something about them that appears weird. But
Yes.
the reality is that what's weird is people that are normal, basically.
Yeah, it's crazy you say that, which this one, The Mysterious Friend, because I'm watching them. Now, I liked, which one was it?
Was it one with the
K-Pax.
alien or the one?
I like K-Pax better than I liked Harvey. But
Yeah, K-Pax is fun. K-Pax is a fun movie.
what both these movies were kind of sending a message of is like how much people really suck. If you really think about it, because these two were just from both movies, like the characters that they were really focusing on, both movies, really nice people, nice guys, really caring, like
Yeah,
really caring about everyone being happy around them and everything. And nobody else was like that, especially the people that were focused on them so much. They just kind of ignored everything else. Like in K-Pax, he says it. He was like, "You should probably pay more attention to your family than
yeah.
anything else."
He's like obsessed because, I mean, it kind of again sort of like the theme is like all these institutions and shit like gets us away from who we really are,
Hmm.
because he's like, oh, I'm a doctor, I'm a psychologist, this guy, he's obviously crazy, and so I have to cure him, I have to fix him, there's something wrong. And he's like waking up at night and shit, and like, oh, it has to do with this date, and it's like, man, you're kind of overthinking it, for one, and for two, like, you already got divorced,
Yeah,
you already have a son you don't talk to. Wait, what the fuck are you doing with your life? Uh,
exactly. It was like you, and that was the crazy part too, because like anytime somebody mentioned his son, he's just like, whatever. Like, "Hey, you should invite him for Christmas. I'll think about it." What? You'll think about it? Like, motherfucker, invite your son to Christmas. Like, shit.
yeah.
And okay, so since we're talking about Capex, pretty much, there's a part that was standing out to me, and it's when the sprinklers are going, and he starts going crazy, and like grabs a little girl, and the father's reaction was not a normal father's reaction, in my opinion, because my first reaction would be, "What's up?"
Hello, Facebook user.
My first reaction, honestly, if you grab somebody in a child in my family like that, I'm swinging. I don't give a shit what your issues are. I'm swinging. And he went right over to the guy, like more concerned about the guy than his daughter. Like, come on now. He after the fact, like after everything happened, it's like, "Oh, are you okay?" It's like, no, that's the first person you should be checking on. After you lay his ass out, you go check on your daughter.
Well, to be honest, he was kind of happy that it happened because he felt like that was the first time the veneer had been pierced. And so he thought, oh, this is good for me to like make headway in this case. Now I can now I can figure it out. I can solve the problem. For him, it's about solving the problem.
But
Oh, it's
the
Doomsday
problem that he
Chris.
should be solving is himself. Doomsday, what's up, man? Yeah, the problem that he should be solving is himself, because he's just like, there's another part which, okay, everybody in relationships do this. Everybody, where your significant other's talking, male or female, or whatever you're into, and you're just kind of listening, but you're not. But for him, it was like 100% not listening, like
Ever, yeah.
ever, because she's like, "Yeah, I cut my head off and sewed it back on and
Yeah.
something and used dental something
With,
about
with
dental."
dental floss, yeah.
That's all he heard was dental floss. Then he started talking about work again. Like, this guy,
Yes.
man, he's just not getting
He's obsessed, and that's what was fucking up his relationships, really.
like, and it was crazy because it was like the wife, the kids, like you. Sometimes I won't say usually, I won't even say all the time, but there is times where you see it like it's more so ignoring them, kind of, but still giving them what they want. And he wasn't even doing that, because there was the part where she mentioned they were gonna. I don't remember what she was talking about buying or getting, and he said that maybe we were gonna do it, and she was like, "We're doing on such and such a date." And he was like, "I told you it was a maybe." I'm just like, this is just
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I said maybe. Like, what do you mean we're actually going to the thing? It's like, bro,
yeah.
do you pay attention at all? You know the thing that I really liked about K-Pax? So like there's a black guy who's like germaphobe. I know there's
Mhm.
another word for it. Which is hella funny to see this dude at the beginning, he's wearing a fucking mask and shit.
Oh, the glove. Yo, the first thing I thought of was now. The very first fucking thing I thought of was, yo, did what the fuck's going on? Because this didn't come out in 2020, let's say,
No,
or
this came out in 2001. This came in 2001.
because just the way he was like dressed and like so afraid to get dirty, let's say,
Mm-hmm.
it was crazy. Just because, again, the whole pandemic, you had people, not everybody, but you did have people, and I'm sure you still do, which respect to you guys. Cause if that's what makes you feel comfortable out in public wearing masks and gloves and all that shit, fine. People, don't fuck with them. Don't be a dick. But yeah, the mask
The
on,
surgical mask, yeah.
gloves, all the fucking time,
Yeah.
all the fucking time. I'm just like,
And he's like talking about like, oh, there's the Ebola virus, there's the swine flu, there's all this shit. I know it's in the air. The air smells dirty.
I was just waiting for him to mention COVID. I swear. I was like, is he gonna say COVID next?
Yeah. It's so funny because like this, like there's always been pandemics, right?
Yeah.
And in Asia, the shit's been worse than here. Like before COVID, in the last decade, there were multiple. I believe they were actually COVID-related diseases, like within the same genealogy strain.
Mm-hmm.
And they got hit really hard, like especially in like Korea and other parts of Asia. So they are used to it, and so there are people who like are in the know on that shit, where it's like, oh, it can shut down your life. We've just been blissfully ignorant because, to be honest, like first off, there's been nothing that big, and second off, there was something, it was like swine flu, I think, was under Obama, and to be honest, they handled that shit really well. Same with Ebola, they handled that shit really well, and so it wasn't a problem. Mm-hmm. Some other people didn't handle it well, and then it fucked up the planet. I mean, it's that simple.
Yo, where the fuck is Captain Planet when you need
him? Captain Planet, get rid of this goddamn COVID.
Yeah, Earth, fire, wind, water, and heart. He'd be like, I ain't fucking with you guys. You guys.
Yeah, I ain't fucking with you. You fuck.
Soon as like you guys are gonna fuck it all up right after.
Have you seen the John Cheadle Captain Planet shit that they've done?
I would love to, but
it's really funny. Like they did it on like I think it's Funny or Die or something like that. But they did these this and they fucking made him silver.
Holy shit!
They put some silver paint on his face. It's hella funny. And he's the Black Captain Planet. I'll just put it that way for you.
That's fucking hilarious. I feel like I have to see that.
Yeah, it's really funny. It's really
Holy
funny.
Shit. Holy shit.
Anyway, so like yeah, like this I feel like both of these movies, they're about like exposing the way people are, like normal people.
Mm-hmm.
How their lives are messed up. And these dudes, the main character, like they're, the alien pro, he's fine. Like he doesn't have a mental issue.
Mm-mm. Everybody thinks he does though, because he's just talking about this planet that nobody's heard of, which it's funny how people are really like that. Maybe not necessarily with that, but they're just like, I've never heard of it, so that means it can't exist. Like, no, that is not what that means at all. It just means you haven't heard about it, you haven't learned about it. Because there's plenty. You use the ocean as a perfect example. Like we don't know everything that's in the fucking ocean, and it's literally right here on the planet. Like you can get to the ocean, you can drive or fly to the. You know what I mean? You can get to the ocean.
You can get in a sub. You can get in a boat.
But you can only go so far. You can only go so far. And I don't understand how, for me, I don't get how people can accept that, right? But they can't accept that there's more to outer space than what we've learned in science class, so to speak, or what we've been told on TV and all. Like, I'm sure there's plenty of shit out there. There's plenty of planets out there we've never fucking heard of and never will hear of. But because we only heard of those few, that's all that exists. And I'm just like, oh my God, how can you be that fucking ignorant? Like the fucking, that shit is just huge. That shit is just huge. And there's a reason why it's so hard to get up there, because we're not supposed to be out there fucking that up too. Like, we're already fucking this up. Let's not fuck up another planet, people. Come on, stay here.
Yes.
But I like
stop fucking up our planet.
Yeah, I like how, so with this movie too, how he wore the sunglasses all the time until the room was darker. And they were talking about how, like, when he leaves, when he left and came, they're like, how do you know when they're like, how do you know he's going to come back? He's like, because he has his sunglasses with him. He didn't leave his sunglasses because when he goes back home to K-Pax, he's not going to need them. And I like how the guy brought up, when he was talking to the I forgot his name, but to the guy, he was like, for an intelligent man, you repeat yourself a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
He really
does. There's a funny thing too where he meets like all those like astrophysicists or whatever, and he's like, hi doctor. Like there's a lot of doctors on this planet, aren't there?
How many doctors are on this planet?
Yeah.
And just, oh my god, you know what part had me kind of chuckling though is when they were talking about reproducing, and just how unpleasant he was talking about how it was at his planet.
Yeah,
He was like,
yeah,
"So how do you guys reproduce?" He was like, "Very carefully."
yeah.
It's like, wow, like
Okay,
all
yeah.
this shit he was saying, I was like, that would not make me want to. I'd be, you know what? I'm celibate. Fuck it.
Right, yeah.
This
And
shit.
they also like they don't have a concept of a family, which is
Mm-hmm.
sort of a typical. It's kind of interesting because, like, if you really think about it, right? Like, if imagine if there were sentient like ants or bees or something, like they wouldn't. It's like I don't have a mother or father. There's a queen that made me, and then I work,
Mm-hmm.
in the colony, and
Yeah.
we're colonists, and we're all part of one civilization.
Mm-hmm.
Like for us, our structure, it makes sense that it would be different.
Yeah, and I mean, with him though, I like what he brought up. They're like, so what about the children? Who raises the children? He was like, everybody.
Yeah,
Everybody just takes care of the children. Which, I mean, don't get me wrong. eh, Here on Earth, you should take care of your children, but I do like how basically everybody looks out for each other. Is what you're saying.
yeah,
If you really
exactly.
think about it, which is
And yeah,
great.
like I said with the bee example, like a
Yeah.
bee, it just does the work and it knows what to do because the other bees tell them what to do and they
Hmm.
communicate. It's probably the same way. It's just
Yeah.
with more
Yeah.
intelligent.
And the funny thing was though, like once he like interacts with the people more and more, he seems more like the Family Guy, not the show, than than the father.
Lucky there's a family guy.
It'd be him. Than the father does. You would think the father would be the person from another
Yeah,
planet, the way he was acting. As a matter of fact, you'd think people in general would be from another planet, the way they act and treat each other versus you can say this gentleman here, and then this movie here, which we'll get to soon.
yeah,
But it's just so like it's I don't know how to I'm trying to think of how to word this, how it's like fuck. I feel like I have like the phrase or something like at the tip of my tongue. I just can't think of it. Maybe it'll come to me
hmm
eventually. But basically how they're basically saying this guy's crazy. Oh,
yes,
just writing him off as crazy. And it's just like if you really pay attention and listen to what he's saying, he actually makes a lot of sense. I mean, ignore the whole coming from another planet part. Just everything else that he's saying and doing. Like he's saying shit. Like, again, we brought it up earlier in the episode. You should probably be spending more time with your family, like flat out. And this is a dude who doesn't even grow up, who wasn't raised on those concepts of family, and he's saying that from
yeah.
another.
He's saying like, yeah,
So I'm
yeah,
like, okay, he's on to something.
yeah.
He's
And
on to something.
there was a couple scenes too where he's like, I forget there was one where they're talking. He's like, oh yeah, I'm a psychologist. I help cure people with these disorders. He's like, well, how many people have you cured? And he's kind of like, well, I can't really answer that or whatever. And he's like, well, you're a doctor, but you don't really cure people. And like, and K-Pax shows up and then like he's telling them all this stuff, but like he's actually helping them
Yeah,
discover how to like cure themselves, really. And I think that's even the thing that he says, like, yeah, people have the ability to cure themselves. Like, that's just like common knowledge on our planet.
I think the good thing with him though was like instead of I guess maybe analyzing the people there, the patients, he's just literally sitting down and talking to them, having a conversation and listening, and then maybe giving solutions after. But he's just like listening, give them some belief and all that other stuff. Versus like it's just like versus the doctor in the movie. He's just like, okay, well, what's their issue? Okay, uh huh.
Yeah.
Just writing shit down. You're not really you can't.
That's exactly what his interaction was with the black guy at the beginning of the movie. He's like, dude's like, oh, there's a West Nile virus, is this and that, and he's looking at the fucking clock while talking to this guy. He has no interest in him.
At
He
all.
just he's just like, okay, so I'm gonna give him this drug. I'm gonna give him this drug. I'm gonna give him this drug.
It's almost like he was trying to find the most interesting case, like the most out there interesting case. Then he's like, now you got my attention because again, when this guy comes, he has his fucking full on attention,
Yeah,
100% to
yeah,
where he's ignoring his family. Shouldn't
yeah.
even be
He's
laughing
ignoring his
at.
family. He's ignoring his kids.
Even more to the point, like remember when his wife is is in the other room with their daughter playing the piano, and he's just like gets up, gets annoyed because he's working, doing work that he could do later on to bring it to the office tomorrow. Closes the door, like looks out there, closes the door, then goes back and sits down. He hears the piano, so he just like, it's like you're a dick,
It's
yo.
like,
Like,
bro,
no.
you have a problem. You have a
Yeah,
problem. And you need to get some perspective about the world
And it's not
outside
like,
of himself.
and yes, I understand people have to work, but it's not like you need the money that bad to where you need to be like taking your home or your office work home and vice versa. Like, nah, leave that shit in the office and chill. All good, man. Thank you for popping in.
Yeah, thanks. Doomsday Crypt.
But yeah, this was something, man. This was
Okay, did
something.
you think he was really an alien?
I wasn't sure. I honestly was not sure because it was like maybe he is, maybe he's not. Because I remember when they were asking like when the guy was like, "How do you look just like us?" He was like, "Well, when I'm here," he was like, "When I'm here, I look like this. When I'm on my planet, I look like whatever he called their people." And I like how he asked them the soap bubble.
Yeah.
I forgot what he said verbatim, but he
He
was
said
like
it's the most efficient form of how to disperse the energy or something like that.
something. Yeah. And I'm just like, what the fuck, man? What the fuck?
Exactly. Exactly.
Oh shit. But yeah, at first I was not sure, and then even at the end, I was a little confused. Like the way it ends, I'm just like, what the fuck? So was he? Did he send the chick to K-Pax? Like, what the hell happened? Or did she just leave? Because I remember he was like, I don't know, I don't remember him saying it, but I know one of the guys, I think it was the older guy with the glasses, was like, he was like, if he'll take one of us to his planet, whoever has the best essay, and it was the. I kind of had a feeling of who was going to be picked because they there was a reason why they showed the one chick that didn't talk since she was a
Yeah,
child
didn't talk. Yeah.
there, and they showed her a handful, like a couple times. And one part that I laughed at, I was like, "Fucking white people, man! They can never be happy for anybody." And at the end, when she's gone, all the white people were hating,
Yeah,
and the
they're
Spanish
mad.
chick was like, "You go, girl," or some shit. She was happy as hell for.
Yeah.
They're mad as shit. I know that Edward was about to roll off that tongue, but I was like, and I thought about it, like, it makes the most sense because she was the most unselfish person there. She wasn't asking for anything. She was pretty much just in her own thing, maybe like in her own kind of whatever happened with that fire. She was like in her own emotions and sadness to where she wouldn't even talk, but she wasn't bothering anybody. But she took the time to write that essay and probably go somewhere where it was better for her. And I
Yeah,
feel like
exactly.
he took on her pain or whatever
Mhm.
and stayed back because of how he was kind of just sitting in the chair and just kind of like out of it basically. And the doctor was talking to him and pushing him in the wheelchair, which he still wasn't fucking spending time with his family. He was like, "Fuck
No,
them.
he's like, fuck them kids.
You might as well just adopt him." Like, yeah, this is my son now. Holy
Yeah,
shit.
right.
Oh my gosh. Oh man.
We want to do early ratings.
Yeah, let me pull up the chart really quick. The early ratings for K-Pax. Give me like 2 seconds.
Yeah, again, I remember watching this just like on a whim, um, like on television. It's a really fun movie. It's very good. I think it's definitely kind of like under the radar.
It is. You want me? I'll go. My rating for this one is a 7.
Okay.
It's a 7. I'll tell you why I did. Like I said, I like this one better than Harvey. But talking about K-Pax, I'm liking Harvey a little more than I did when I first finished it. So we'll get to that though. But what about you?
Yeah, so I'm a 7 on this too. I liked it more. I'd say it's like a 7.5 for me, probably. I liked it more watching it this time. It was fun, you know. It's definitely like you're curious about what's gonna happen because you want to know. Okay, is this dude really an alien or is he crazy?
Yeah,
And I'm down to spend some time to get an answer. And that's really honestly that's like the main job of the film, and then the second is like that thematic kind of
Mhm.
premise where it's like, hey, you need to pay attention to your humanity and not obsess over this other bullshit.
Yeah,
So
basically, it's caring for your family, friends, and just your neighbor, people in general. People in general, and they're just nah.
yeah,
They're just like not. But I like how, and I guess this can kind of segue into the other movie, but still talk about both in a sense. But it kind of shows how humanity is to this day, in a sense, of how like you can get so absorbed in all the worldly things and forget about the important things. And I'm just like, damn, that's they're telling it to you in a way they're telling it to you in like a more thought out way, I guess. To kind of they're telling it to you in a way to where it's like you don't realize they're telling it to you, so you really discuss it and think about it.
Yeah,
They're not like it's because again, if they told it to you like the way we're saying it in a sense and showed that into a movie, people are like, I don't want to see this shit.
yeah,
I see this shit every day with people. It's like no fucking shit, asshole. That's the message. That's the message. But again, not a bad film at all. Capex.
yeah. I think it's really cool. It's a very fun film, and it's good to like watch both. The other thing too is like both of these like they have to do with like psychologists or psychiatrists.
Mm-hmm.
You know, someone who's trying to analyze the crazy person.
Yes.
And that's another because like really that has to do with how we institutionally sort of deal with people in the medical system, right? We deal with people, we have a certain kind of way that we deal with people, and if we think, oh, you're crazy, then you know, I mean, like the whole thing with how K-Pax even ended up where he was, like someone else punched someone in, you know, in like a train station, and then they booked him. It's like, what did he even do to be in that situation?
Yeah, that was crazy because it was like he went over there to help the lady up. The black dude was like he didn't do nothing, and the people who did it took off. My thing is, here's my thing too with people is when you see something like that going on, an old lady getting beat up, there was hundreds of people in that place. Nobody did shit. Like you could have easily. All it would have taken was like what 6 people, maybe 8. Let's say 10 people to take those 2 guys down.
Yeah,
that's it.
stop him.
Trip them. There's cameras there, but somehow the police still fucked up. There's like nope, it was him. It was the guy wearing sunglasses inside.
Yeah, it's the dude with the Bono sunglasses, which those are Bono sunglasses, by the way.
That's awesome. That's hilarious. That's awesome. Real quick though, I want to, which I will pull up the wheel soon too, but I want to pull something up. I had this guy on my podcast. His name is Giovanni on Tuesday, and it actually fits perfect. And it's all about helping. So he lives in Florida, and he has a non-profit foundation where it's selfless compassion. Let me just pull this up really quick because it just really does fit in with this. But anyways, he has 800 book bags for kids, which I meant to share this link in the description. And just trying to get them full. Like here's, you can donate right here. Donate $10, $20, and for supplies for the kids. And I just think it's an amazing thing. So I was like, yo, I'm definitely going to, promote it, be a part of it, throw some money there when I got some extra money. But yeah, it's the message, people. Help one another. All that shit. That's real dope.
Yeah, that's some good shit. You know,
that's real. I'm gonna actually put the link in the comments, and I will post it in the description as well. Oh, you know what? Let me pull the wheel.
Children are our future.
Yeah, they really are. They really are. Even the ones that eat Tide Pods. But we had, but in their defense, we had some ones that ate lead paints.
Yeah.
At least the Tide Pods look like candy. I guess. I mean, I'm not giving you that much bail though, because you should.
I mean,
know better.
The thing of they should have never made it look the way it did.
Not at all.
You know, like they should have never done that. Like, how the fuck is a kid gonna know Tide is a detergent and not it's a candy? Like, it looks like candy. Bro.
See, my thing though is I feel it wasn't little kids eating it. This was people that were like 16, 17 that knew completely. It's always the older people that know better that do dumb shit, and you're just like, oh my god, like what the fuck? Like if a little kid does it, you're like, that's terrible. You feel bad. But if somebody like 18 and up does it, you're like, you dumb fuck. You what the fuck? Like this is what you're gonna do? Eat Tide Pods? I'll spin the wheel and then let's hop on to Harvey.
Yeah, sounds good. The massive wheel, the biggest wheel ever.
I still didn't add everything, but I just wanted to wait till we knock some more stuff off. And I'll add the rest, but the majority of them are on here. Give this a go.
There's a lot of fucking things on
there. 37 different things, and that's double. That's 2 movies each.
Yeah.
There's a lot.
So yeah, there's a lot. A lot of content for you.
Oh fuck yeah! Which, by the way, the Z Network is growing, man. So we might have some more people that got some other shows coming along. What is this? What is this?
Oh,
Brazil and the
oh
trail
shit, Brazil and the trial. Okay.
trial.
These are some very out there movies. Brazil
Oh,
is cool. So both of them are. So the trial is a adaptation of a Kafka novel, which is about some guy who gets kind of shanghaied into some weird situation and just gets screwed over by a bureaucracy. Brazil is similar, but there's like a sci-fi world that it exists in.
okay.
So they're both. I think the title for that is like the Kafka-esque nightmare. So
That sounds interesting.
get to understand what the Kafka world is like.
I don't even
Being
know.
destroyed and killed in an absurd way that's
Oh,
almost laughable, but you're having your humanity stripped from you by some weird bureaucracy that you can't get away from.
I want to say this really quick, just because it was like the what 10 or 12, 10-year anniversary, I believe. Could be longer, but the raid.
Yeah, I posted that link.
I wish. Let me say this again. I wish. Well, first, I wish that there was a part three made by the same people who did that in the same, not Americanized, but there where they did it. That's one. Two, I wish I haven't seen. I wish we watched this movie like later because it was just so fucking good that I want to go back to both. I'm gonna eventually get them both on Blu-ray. Like
Oh
I
yeah, for
seen them
sure.
on I seen them on Amazon Prime. I believe the Raid one was they had the Raid one unrated, and then they had them both in like a Blu-ray set, but it wasn't the unrated. So I'm debating because I'm like, okay, the Raid unrated was like say $15, or I can get them both on Blu-ray for $15. But I
Mm.
kind of want to see what the unrated was. It was either unrated or un something. I forgot. I think it was unrated or something. Either way,
Yeah,
I feel like I have to get that copy of it and then just get the Blu-ray version of Part Two because those were just some fucking just to have in the collection. They were just some fucking again the hands down the best action movies I've ever seen in my life. Hands down the best
yeah,
action movies I've ever seen in my life, and it's really action, hand to hand combat, the knives, all that kind of shit. Yes, they used guns, but they didn't just use guns. It was all kinds of shit, and
yeah,
that is
everything.
action.
And it was violent. It wasn't like, oh, I died. No, it's
No,
like you could feel it.
no, it was like you got sliced with your fucking face with a fucking machete type of dying, not just gunshot done. No, it was beautiful. Which
Yeah,
that's the movie I want. Really quick before I forget. Have you ever seen the movie Assassin? I think it's called
it's
Assassin
from the
Asian.
90s.
I don't know. Let me see if I can find it real quick. But the fucking fighting in that
I don't know if I heard of it.
was so was it from the 90s? I'll see if I can find it. I'll find it later. Oh wait, no. This is Ninja Assassin. No, was it Ninja Assassin?
Ninja Assassin.
I know it was an Asian guy because all these other assassin movies definitely wasn't that. Yeah, it was Ninja Assassin because I remember that chain thing he had.
Ninja Assassin.
It's fucking oh my gosh, I could share my screen.
I feel like I heard this. Oh, there's a movie that I wanted to. I almost feel like we should have a like action movie related but like we already have too many podcasts. But like, I heard about this one film. So it was like a guy has to fight like 80 people or some shit like that, and then he's fighting all these people, and they do it all in one take.
Holy shit.
Yeah, yeah.
This shit right here was fucking. I mean, that type of wheel we could throw on the popcorn and pints thing. Maybe once we get some whittled down, but at least have a list to the side because that's a movie I would be throwing on there right there. And then just it's fucking like before the raid. That would probably be my second favorite action movie. Maybe even tied with the raid because I haven't seen it in years. But just I love fighting with. I love action movies without the guns because I feel like it's more of a to me that's more of a fight that's more of a risk like if I'm going in here I'm fighting with my hands maybe some
Yeah.
swords and shit like that versus I'm gonna fucking be way over here in the corner and shoot the dude
Sniping.
way over there and snipe him or just like nah. I mean either way I don't want to be involved in any of that stuff but for movies yeah I want to see the hand-to-hand shit. Now on to Harvey.
Harvey. Yeah, the movie about a guy who believes he has a giant rabbit as an invisible friend. But he's like a super cool guy, but like everyone's like, oh, you're kind of crazy. Um, basically. Yeah, that's what. And the thing about it is, it's like, is this guy crazy? Like, he's a really nice, cool guy, but like maybe he's crazy and maybe he should get help.
Yeah.
Um,
Nice was an understatement. He was like the nicest person I've ever seen in anything.
yeah, he's like
Like,
Mr. Rogers, basically.
yeah, yeah, yes. Rest in peace. But yes, just super fucking nice to the point where it was just like, what is he? What is his goal? What is his game? And there was nothing. He was just a really, 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 really nice person who just had a best friend that was a rabbit, a
Yeah,
big
yeah.
ass rabbit.
Best friend who's a rabbit, and like, yeah, this is another one where like you start to question it. You're like, okay, maybe he is crazy, but like, does it matter? Because like, he's such a positive force in the world.
And he's not doing anything harmful
Yeah, yeah.
at all.
It's not like he believes something bad and he's gonna start to kill people. He's like, yeah, I'm a cool guy, but I believe that secretly these people are like scheming to kill me, so I have to blow them up. I have to blow up a building or something like that. No, nothing like that. It's just,
Not at
yeah,
all.
dude, my friend, he's a rabbit.
And this one was, it got little, to me, it got a little ridiculous because it was confusing because I was like, okay, is his sister crazy too? Is his
Yeah,
whole
because
family crazy?
she also like saw it.
Yeah, she mentioned it a few times. And then there was a part where she was like, so really quick, when the doctor came to her house and the doctor answers which I thought was fucking weird. The doctor answers her phone.
Yeah.
What do you answer? Put that shit back.
It'd be like Aaron. It'd be like, I'm at your house. I just pick up your someone's calling your cell phone. I just pick up your cell phone and just like, this is Aaron's house. Like, why are you calling Aaron?
Like, see, now for me, here's the thing with that though. If it's somebody that I know or have known for a little bit, it's not that big of a deal. But this motherfucker literally just like they just met. Because she didn't meet the doctor earlier. No,
Yeah.
Did she meet the doctor earlier when she went to the hospital? And they took the wrong.
I forget. They might have met.
Maybe briefly, but
it's like still like
yeah, not known enough to just grab the phone and talk on it. Maybe back in the day that was fine. The 50s, I don't know.
I know. People were more friendly about it and shit.
I guess, but it was like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And again, this is another one where you're like, you're getting this whole theme and stuff, but you're like, man, is the bunny real? Is the giant bunny real? And like, that's another thing that kind of keeps you invested because you get the sense that you're gonna kind of get an answer. And we don't like really see the bunny, but like there's shit that starts happening at the end where you're like,
Yes.
okay, it's real.
and see, and that made me. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like, what? Nobody, like, people were questioning it, but they weren't at first. It was just like, oh, he's harmless, and then it was just like, okay, now this is getting a little much.
And then they wanted to, again, both of these are about like the normal guy who has one abnormal trait is trying to be institutionalized by people who have actual problems.
Yes.
They have actual problems. He doesn't have a problem in this movie.
I mean, if his worst problem is that his best friend is an invisible rabbit, fucking tall ass rabbit at that.
Yeah, hella tall, like fucking LeBron. Like a LeBron-sized rabbit who's fucking balling.
That's basically it. Just picture LeBron dressed as a white Easter bunny, but invisible.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it. Because the dude was tall, and he was like, "Yeah, he was right here." He's like, "This tall."
Like,
yeah. You know what was funny? I know we're jumping all around, but when they were in the doctor's office after the guy leaves, and they finally figure out that that's the person who they're supposed to be institutionalizing or whatever instead of his sister.
Yeah.
And they pick the dude puts the wrong hat on. He's like, "That's not my hat." He takes the hat off or whatever. It has ear slits in it for a rabbit ear.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Like, how don't you notice that before? How don't you notice it? Because I'd get it if there was like a shirt with a hole cut in it somewhere because you might not pay attention to it right away until you open it up. But a hat, it's gonna sit different as soon as you pick it up because it's cut. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, what the fuck? Exactly.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it's funny. And both of these movies are kind of like, I know Harvey is really a comedy, but K-Pax is like funny too. Like, there's a lot of funny stuff because it's so absurd. And the whole thing is like
for K-Pax.
Yeah. it's the crazy person, again, showing that the normal people are the ones that are really crazy.
Yeah, yeah, and it's yes, crazy, mean, manipulative, all that shit. Like how he was throwing compliments at the chick, and she started to like it. She started to warm up to it more and more, and then the doctor that she was throwing herself at, that just kept ignoring every advance, but she was a good looking woman. Every advance until he sees somebody else creeping in, not even creeping in, it's just a guy being genuinely nice. And he was like, when he was asked, like, can you say that to what she say to him? I forgot what she said to him when they were all at the bar or whatever at the table, and he was like, "Can you say it to me again, please?" Just because he liked the way it sounded. And then all of a sudden, the doctor was like, "Yeah, I like the way it sounded too." And the fucking the dance when she was like, he said, "You look like you want to dance or some shit." And he was like, "You guys should dance." He was like, "I don't dance anymore, but you two should dance." And he just got up and went outside. And he was so easy to like move. Like, hey, he's like, "Where are you going?" He's like, I'm going to a different place now. Why don't you come inside with us?" Okay. What the like just
Yeah.
there's zero argument from this guy. Zero argument.
Yeah.
Like we could have probably had him on the podcast. Like, yo.
Yeah. Like, hey, you want to come on? Like, yeah, sure, of course.
Yeah, exactly. Like
Very agreeable. Very agreeable.
Easily. Like, yo, what are you getting ready to do? Oh, I'm just getting ready to walk my rabbit. But well,
Yeah.
do you and the rabbit want to come on to the podcast with us? You and Harvey want to come on the podcast? Yeah.
That's really what it'd have been too. And we'd have like another like little panel open.
Yep.
That's just like where the rabbit is.
I put the movie cover there.
Yeah. Hey, put the movie, you should see the rabbit.
Like there he is.
And then he'd be like, "Oh, Harvey said he really liked the movie. Like he liked K-Pax, you know."
That's good. That's good.
Harvey said he wants to go to K-Pax.
Yeah. And oh man,
And he'd be hella chill. You know, he's a chill, cool guy. Like
he really is. Like honestly, I would chill with both of them.
Yeah. Oh, I'd love to. Who would you want to hang out with more?
I don't know. Maybe. Oh fuck. It'd have to be the football. Well, first of all, it'd have to be high as shit because that would just make it way more entertaining. So I'm gonna say Harvey, the rabbit, and I forgot the guy's. I don't even remember the guy's name.
Elwood. I think Elwood.
I'm chilling with Elwood and Harvey because it's gonna get to a point where I'll probably be so damn high. I think I'm talking to the rabbit. I already know who this is. This is Kelvin talking about some pancakes.
Pancakes.
What's up, man? Yeah, I'll be talking with Harvey. I'll be chilling with Harvey and Elwood, talking to the rabbit about some shit.
Yeah. I mean, I think that they'd be fun. Yeah. I would want to be with Prote from K-Pax because I'd have a lot of questions about the universe. And like, you know, like the more information I could get, the more I'd be like, you know, sort of like that's what would be in it for me. I'd be like, okay, so like, when did you guys discover this? When did you discover that? Like, you know, like how many other species do you know of in the universe? What do you guys do? Is this the first time you've been to Earth? Like, I'd have all kinds of questions.
And I feel like with that, especially if like he'll get the proof for you, can be a huge financial gain. Like,
well, you know, there's just to go on K-Pax real quick. They asked him because he understands a faster than light travel, and they asked him to prove it, and he's like, I can't do that because you guys aren't ready. You'll blow up your planet, basically.
He was like, you'll hurt yourself, or even worse, you'll hurt someone else.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's absolutely right. Just think about if America had that type of shit.
Oh, people would be teleporting into fucking all kinds of places.
No, not even the government.
Yeah.
What the fuck you say about me, huh?
Yeah, kill you.
Done.
Send you into a star on the other side of the fucking universe.
Shit.
Something.
What? You guys don't want to give me that oil?
You're gone.
You're gone. That was my plan. And honestly, that's probably how it would be. Like with that type of technology or power or whatever, it would be fucking horrible. People suck. We already know that.
Yeah, I mean, just to go on an aside on this real quick, I feel like there's a movie Contact, and they kind of get into this like, just like sort of as a spoiler. Contact is about like it's alien civilization contacts Earth. They say, hey, make this machine, and people are like, well, why should we do that? Maybe they're gonna create this machine that'll teleport all them here so they can invade us.
Mm-hmm.
But then they do it anyway. They make the machine. Jodie Foster meets an alien that looks like her dad, and basically they say, okay, there's a series of steps we need you to do. This is the first step, because we can't just have you we can't just give you a bunch of technology off the bat, because you guys aren't ready. You're not ready for it, but you will be eventually, and this is the first step. So welcome aboard, basically.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, it's true. Like, the human race is not ready. I mean, we're fucking it's 21st century, and there's a fucking war right now. We're invading each other.
Yeah, which is terrible.
You know?
Makes no sense. But yeah, I think again, Elwood and the Rabbit for like a fun, high,
it'd be so fun.
joke, laughing podcast and shit.
Yeah.
And what's his name again?
It's Prote.
Prote would be more so for the same reasons as you, but I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be 100% honest. It'd also be like, listen, man. I'm gonna be honest with you. I need to know about the solar system shit. I'm really interested in it, but I also want to be the richest nigga in the world because.
And he might give you a little something a little technology that for us would be like mind blowing.
That's fine. I don't need it all. Just give me that little bit to where it's like, look, you never have to work. Like, nobody that you care about, nobody that you're cool with ever has to work again or worry about anything.
Probably also give you some kind of riddle, like just like he did with the one guy. He's like, okay, you do these 3 things and then you'll be cured. It's like, okay, Aaron, you got to do these 3 things.
I'm gonna do them right away. Right.
Oh shit.
But honestly, like with something like that, I would hope. I feel like I would, because I could say the position I'm in now, but I would hope that I would be like, okay, I want to use this to not only, of course, for my selfish needs, if you want to say that, to help myself out, my family, and people that I care about, but also everybody that there would be nobody hungry, you know what I mean? All that shit. Because I'm sure he has the tech from this. I know it's not a real movie, people, but from this, there has to be something with that, knowing all that knowledge or just an inkling of that knowledge where it's like, okay, I can solve world hunger. I can fucking solve all these crises. I can solve this whole gas shit right now. Like, I can solve all this with this. And what I'm gonna do is I'm not gonna tell anybody I'm gonna do it. I'm just gonna do it. It's just gonna happen, because if you tell somebody about it, they're gonna want it. They're gonna try to kill you. They're gonna try to, you know what I mean? It's all this other bullshit. You know how it is. And that's not even the gangs. That's the government that I'm talking about. The big
government gang is a gang. They're the biggest gang.
Yeah.
The biggest gang with the biggest gun, basically.
And the smallest brain. I better stop before they cancel us.
I know. All right, so I think any last thoughts? Any final rating on Harvey?
For Harvey, I gave that one a 6. Like, it's just, again, this one was. It grew. I mean, just discussing Capex and now discussing this more, because it was definitely more of a comedy, but it was more of like a wholesome thing where it's just like. Yo, this guy.
You can show this to kids, basically.
Yeah, like this guy is so simple. Like, he just. Who cares if he has an imaginary friend rabbit? Whatever. Which we could dive into that a little bit more, because the fucking doctor sees the damn rabbit later on.
Yeah. I mean, everyone sees it, like, basically.
And again, this is why I want to smoke with them, because I'm like, okay, if I'm getting high like this and seeing a fucking 6, then again, do I want to get high and see a 6 foot or a 7 foot rabbit, however tall that shit was, rabbit? Like, what the fuck? But if it's nice, I guess, because he seemed like he was having a good time and just figuring shit out, like how to be a good person. That's with both. I think with both movies, it's more so of how to treat your fellow human being and how to be a good person versus the financial gains of shit versus everything else. It was like, let's just be good to each other. At the end of the day, that's basically what the message was. And it, in a way, they told it in different ways, but they told it. And yeah, I did like Capex a little more, though, just because the tone of it was a little more serious. I don't mind comedies, as you guys know. Everybody knows that. But I think say it again.
As long as they're not too white people comedies are a problem.
I can't even just blame. It's just, I don't know. It just has to be funny. Like, there's just certain shit that just
not funny.
Fucking Bill and Ted's not funny. Bill and Ted's a Great Adventure, whatever the fuck that shit was. That shit's not funny at all. And I love stupid humor. You guys know this. I love stupid humor.
That's like a pseudo stoner. Like, they're not actually stoners, but they act like stoners.
Maybe that's what I didn't like about it. Like, smoke and then do this movie. It'd probably been a lot better. Like, I don't want to get into that movie again. Those are bad. But what do you rate?
I'll give it like an 8.5. I really liked it.
Oh
I think
really?
it's nice. Yeah, it's good. It's really good. Um, like I said, this is a film you could show a lot of people. It's a very
You
kind of
really can.
universal.
Yes, and it wouldn't honestly like you're saying. I could show this one to kids. They'd have to be kids that are like into like really really into movies. I'd say and into a black and white film. But I will say, if you can get a kid to watch this and really pay attention to it, it's not hard to understand.
Yes.
Capex will be a lot harder to understand for somebody than this was
And like you
because
said, it's darker and it's dealing with like it's really like dealing with like the mental health
yeah,
like apparatus. And kids also aren't going to really understand like the problem that this dude is having with his family.
not at
Like
all.
they'll kind of get it, but they won't get it the way an adult gets it.
Yeah,
Where you're like, oh, I shit,
I
because that's really just like a stand-in for I need to have perspective about my life.
mhm. I was
Yeah.
gonna say I feel like a kid may get it maybe around like 9, 10 years old, especially if they're going through it with their parents. You know what I mean? It's just it would be more so. Of course, they don't show it in the movie because they don't necessarily have to, but there'd be more arguments and all this other shit going on. So they'd kind of see that, like, oh wow, that reminds me of my dad or my mom, whatever that one is. That's like 100% work, or say 95% work, 5% family. That's But with Harvey, it was more of like a happy, funny, fun kind of. I mean, because the fucking there's
Yeah.
a point where the dude picks up the dude's sister and carries her upstairs, and then I mean it was funny as far as like, yeah, then they took off all my clothes and put me in the tub. That had me laughing. And the part where she wore I don't remember his sister's name, but she's talking to her brother on the phone, and she's like, yeah, Harvey's I can't get Harvey because he's in the bathtub. He's like, oh, Harvey just got here. You better check the tub. So I thought it was done there. And then she goes to the stairs and she's yelling up to somebody. She's like, yeah, check the tub. There could be a stranger in there because Harvey's not there. I'm like, what the fuck? What the fuck is going on? What is going on?
I mean, the rabbit is real to them. It's that shit's real to them, you know.
To the family. Oh, and really quick too, where the same time where the doctor answers the phone, where the picture of the rabbit and her brother were over the other picture, just standing there. Like she's like, he's bad. And she's like, but he was here. She's like, he was like, how do you know? Because he put this picture.
Yeah.
Oh my
It's really
gosh, that shit was funny, and that's something that I would do. Like if I had a picture of myself drawn with a fucking big ass rabbit or whatever next to me, I'm just gonna put
Yeah, that shit is like
that.
ridiculous. That painting.
It is.
It's like, oh yes, here we are. It's like, what the fuck?
Like, where'd you get this? Who painted this for you? Don't worry about that. And why do you keep covering everybody's picture? Because it's a fucking cool ass picture.
Yeah, it's hella cool.
It's one of those things where I would have it hanging up on my wall because it's like you have your family hanging up on your wall, right?
Yeah.
So you have your family hanging up on your wall. Nobody really pays attention to that. No, I'm not saying you in general. I'm just saying nobody really pays attention to that because everybody has something like that. You have you standing next to a big ass rabbit. People are gonna question that shit.
They're like,
As soon as they ask me,
is this an
like,
Easter photo shoot? It's like, no. This is my friend Harvey.
yeah, we did this yesterday.
Yeah.
And every time, just think of every time somebody comes over there, you're gonna just, yo,
You know what I would be really funny too is like if they had a scene where like someone's painting them and he's sitting there, right? And the painter is looking and he's painting the fucking rabbit.
that would have been awesome. That should have been in the movie.
Like he looks over and he's like painting the rabbit, and all we see is him, and he's like,
That dude would probably be on the same shit those guys are on.
yeah. I mean, I feel like it's almost part of it's like about this idea of belief. Like they believe that the rabbit's there, and then the rabbit's there.
Yeah.
I mean, there's actually a term for it. Tulpa.
Tulpa?
Yeah, it's this sort of tulpamancy is another term for it. It's some crazy, but basically it's the idea that your ideas can manifest something into reality, make it real. So like your invisible friend could then become like real, tangible. Now, unfortunately, it kind of like went weird on the internet because then people were like writing fan fictions and they're saying, "Oh, I'm a tulpamancer, so my fan fiction is real. The person I created is right here next to me." So that went a little crazy, but it's the internet. So what are you gonna do?
The internet's gonna internet. People are gonna fuck shit up.
It's gonna internet.
Always, yo. The internet is undefeated. Just because
The internet is undefeated. Yeah, like that is a fact. That is
there's
a fact.
some shit on there. Yeah, even I don't want to see or hear about. I'm just like, you know what? This is just
Rule 34. I think that's the term for it, right?
34.
Rule 34. Yeah, Rule 34. Just Rule 34. That's all I'm going to say.
You said Rule 34.
34. That's all I'm going to say. Of course, Aaron has to look it up because you can't not look.
If it exists, there.
If it exists, there is porn of it. That is.
Oh, shit. That's fucking.
There's also like sites. There's like Rule 34, the site. There's like a subreddit, and it's just weird porn, basically. like the fucking puppets,
That was hilarious.
Like the puppets. You gave both of those a 10, right?
Both, yes, because I laughed. Yo, listen. So here's what I did with that. The trailer alone had me in tears. You see me beat it on my chest.
Yeah.
So yo, I watched those movies back to back. I was like, you know what? And usually, like for the podcast movies, I'll watch them while I'm working when I'm working from home. But I was like, no, these two I have to reserve for after work so I can get high as hell and watch them back to back. I was laughing so fucking hard at both of those movies. I was in tears. I couldn't believe myself what I was seeing. And then when we went to go review it, I instead of doing an intro, I just used the trailer review that we did again, and I was laughing again and beating the chair this time.
Yeah.
I was just like, this shit is too fucking. I'm gonna watch those again. Those are too damn funny.
It's crazy.
Too fucking funny.
Yeah, and like Happy Time Murders is like really edgy, weird shit, like doing drugs and shit.
Oh my God. It was so
like puppet hookers, and
it was so great. I hope nobody took their children to see Meet the Feebles. I say Meet the Feebles because that seems more. Because Happy Time Murders, you're not gonna take your kid to see a movie with a title like that. But I know some people messed up and took their kids to see Sausage Party. I don't know.
Yeah.
So I feel like with Meet the Feebles, if they just see, like, say if their kid just seen a trailer of it, but they didn't see like the crazy shit, or the parent didn't see the crazy shit. Oh yeah, this looks like a good kids movie. Fucking go there. I mean, if you're going in there, you say, I want to see Meet the Feebles. Like, yo, ma'am, this is rated R. You might not want to see this with your 4-year-old. Oh, never mind.
Well, I don't know. I don't think a lot of people watch that movie, to be honest.
I
don't think a lot of people saw it.
Missed the fuck out. That's one of those movies where here's what they need to do: a movie like that, Happy Time Murders, and movies that are just stupidly funny. You gotta have a theater where people can get high as fucking and watch those movies. Yo, that's it. Bill and Ted, it's not gonna happen. I'll just get up and leave. But yes, sir, we're showing it for free. Fuck this. Bye. I want my money back.
Yeah, it's like a secret screening. Like, hey, this is a secret pod screening, and so today we're going to be showing Bill and Ted. You see Aaron walk the fuck out.
Flip something over. Fuck.
Flip the table.
I mean, now again, if it's for content, I'll sit there and watch it, but you better let us review it as I'm watching it because I'm going to be talking some shit through the whole fucking thing. You thought black people talk a lot during movies? Yeah, this one is doing shit. Mm-hmm. The whole fucking movie. Make sure I'm just talking loud. I can't hear the movie. Shut up. Fuck you. This movie sucks. Shit. Go watch K-Pax.
Was that a negative?
Yes. If it wasn't a negative, matter of fact,
it was like a 0.
I think it was a negative 2. I'm about to tell you right now because now I want to know. Because it was, you know, it was funny because my ratings have been wacky this year, I guess, for some. Is they were surprised, Chris and James, that I hated that, but I loved Wayne's World. I was like, Wayne's World is actually funny, though. I thought it was funny at parts. Let's see.
Bill and Ted is an acquired taste. Like, I saw it when I was like a preteen.
Yeah, I gave it a negative. So we watched Bill and Ted and the Green Mile for that episode.
Yeah.
I gave that a negative 2.
Yeah.
It wasn't funny. It was not funny at all. And then, oh my God, the other one, Kung Pao Enter the Fists, I gave that a negative 4.
Kung Pao? What the fuck?
It was terrible. It was so bad. So I gave that a negative 4.
Oh, fuck no. No. I would not. No.
And then the other movie we watched for that one was, with that one was was Bob the Butler, which was a fucking Tom Green movie. It actually wasn't. That was actually the better movie. I gave that a 4. I mean, that's not a high rating, but that's
But
saying
as
something.
opposed to -4, that's like huge. It's like a universe of difference.
It was no, it was he was in it, but he wasn't.
He wasn't the main character.
He kind of was and wasn't, but he wasn't Tom Green. Tom Green, like he still did stupid shit. No bestiality in this one.
Yeah, like that's the main thing.
Like he had a hamster, and I was nervous. I was like, oh fuck, what's gonna happen?
Ooh, it's going in there. It's going in.
In his ass or in his mouth, but it didn't.
Okay.
It's good. It wasn't a good movie. Like I wouldn't watch it again, but yes.
So it was Kung Pao, was that the lowest rated film?
For me,
Well, what was your rating for what was the other one where Freddy Got Fingered?
fuck.
Is that a -10?
No, I didn't give that one. I maybe gave that one like a 1 or a 2.
Okay.
That was before I started saving our ratings thing. I think I gave that like a 1 or a 2. I gave it a 3 or 4 at first just to annoy Chris, because he was pissed off for that episode. But I ended up giving it like a 1 or a 2. But
got to go back into the archives and look at that.
Listen,
because that's the worst. That's one of the worst movies I've ever seen.
You still haven't seen Blood Lake though.
I haven't seen Blood Lake, but
it's on Tubi, man. It's
the thing about it. The thing about it is like there's something about Tom Green that's punchable face hateable.
I understand. Nicolas Cage that's what Nicolas Cage is for me. The way you feel about Tom Green is the way I feel about Nicolas Cage.
And so when the punchable face guy is in jerking off a fucking elephant, I'm like, nah, man, this is.
Well, even if the guy didn't have a punchable face, I don't think you should be doing that. Like what the fuck? Like there's more things to do.
It's terrible.
Candy.
It's fucking terrible.
Oh man, can you imagine having a fucking friend like that? Yeah, man, I'm about to fucking. So we're gonna go hang out, man. We're gonna do this, that, and the third. Then we might jerk off some elephants. Wait,
I got a story for that actually. So like my coworker.
Wait, can this be said on air before I?
Yeah. I mean, it's nothing like it's nothing. It's nothing Tom Green hasn't done. so basically, she was saying like she had a friend and he would watch like they'd be hanging out and like on his computer there'd be like people with horses and.
Oh, okay.
And he'd be like, what the fuck? Like, what do you like? And he was just open. He was like, oh yeah, like I like watching that shit. It's really fucking crazy, man.
It is. I will say this. So if Popcorn and Pints and we could bring a couple of friends, won some tickets to a donkey show, I would go there at least. I'd go once.
Go to TJ?
You wouldn't go? If we went as a group, it would be funny.
I'm getting smashed.
That's fine. I'm gonna be high as shit. I already know Chris and James would go. They're white. They're gonna go.
Oh yeah. I mean, just look at their browser history. You'll see crazier shit.
Holy shit. That's our guys from Popcorn and Pints, if you don't know that by now, people. Holy fuck, man. Holy fuck.
But, all right, guys. I think this is a wrap on this
one. Yeah. This is a wrap. So we'll be back in 2 weeks for the trial and the trial. The trial in Brazil. Mm-hmm. Tune in. The Z Network.
Yeah.
Love it. Peace
Take
out.
care.